Just waiting for it to get dark enough out here. Shooting with the RIX Tactical RNV31 night vision, the RENVC thermal, and the all-new RIP-3C laser aiming module. This is about to be fun. What a weekend. Night vision shoot last night, an incredible spring skiing at Sun Valley with my daughter today. I'm a lucky man. But today we are talking about this. This is the RIX Tactical RIP-3C laser aiming module. Pros and cons. Honestly, mostly pros. I'm actually pretty dang happy with this thing. The RIP-3C is a 4-in-1 laser aiming module coming in at about $1,000, which for a quality laser aiming module is actually a pretty dang decent price, which seems to be consistent with what RIX Tactical does. This night vision here, dual tube, white phosphor, articulating, has all the features, and it's about $4,600. Thermal clip-on for less than $5,000, and a pretty dang good laser aiming module around $1,000. That is pretty sweet, but is it worth it? So my only other laser aiming module, just so you guys know where I'm coming from, is the HFX-C from SMS Laser here, which is less than $300. This is better than that, but it should be at this price. But what exactly is it? So it is a 4-in-1 unit, meaning it has a visible green laser right there. It's got a visible light and a visible light and laser. And then it also has, of course, the IR stuff, which you will not be able to see unless you're under night vision. But it does have an IR illuminator, and it's a V-cell illuminator, and it has a civilian power IR laser pointer. At first, when I was knew that this was coming, because RIX Tactical did send it out to me, but I could say whatever I want about it, good and bad. And I do have a couple things about it that I think I would change, but I mean, mainly it's pretty good. So, civilian powered laser. That is one thing about this HFX-C. It is a full power unit, coming in at like $250, which is absolutely crazy. And it is extremely impressive under night vision. But the build quality of this is quite a bit better. And the design of it, there's more thought involved. And so in a lot of ways, I like this one a lot better. And the thing is the illuminator is a V-cell illuminator. So you have plenty of illuminator power, which in my opinion is what I really want. The civilian powered laser is good enough. As far as I can put that laser out, I can see it just fine. I don't really need my laser to be full powered. I want my illuminator full powered, and you do get that with this. And then of course it does have the white light. Now I still have my mod light on here because I just have a hard time taking off a $600 mod light that I paid good money for and, specifically put on this rifle. We're going to talk about the weird location of the mod light with the laser here, because that is one of my little bit of issues with it. I'm sure there are ways to work around that, and we'll talk about that as well. But we're going to get into this thing. I put a bunch of rounds through it. I've only got one night vision range session on it so far, so we are going to keep testing it, but I want to let you guys know what I think so far. This video is sponsored by Venice AI. Do you ever wonder what ChatGPT does with your conversations? We all know that our phones, Alexa, everything like that listens to our conversations and then advertises to us based on what we say. Well, what else are these things doing with our personal information? They're selling it to third parties, including governments. In fact, the director of the NSA, the former director, is now sitting on the board of ChatGPT, which is why I'm using Venice AI. Venice AI is an AI software. It uses open source software that you don't have to download. It goes straight to your web browser, but the biggest thing is that it's private and permissionless. And so you don't have to worry about them selling your information to anybody else, which is kind of why it's a big deal to me. I like privacy, even though I show everything that I do on a YouTube channel. My daughter, she's 13. She uses AI for all kinds of things these days. She's been writing stories with it. She's been making music with it. It is incredible what you can do with AI. It's a very powerful tool, but keep your privacy while you use it with Venice AI. I like the Pro plan personally. It just gives you a lot more that you can do, and you can get a 20% off on your Pro plan if you sign up using my link. That is venice.ai/sawtooth-tactical. Use that code to get 20% off. The code is sawtooth-tactical. So let's just get the negative out of the way right off the bat. The biggest negative I have with it, again, has to do with where this mod light is right now. If you look at the way this thing is clamped down to the top Picatinny rail on this quad rail here, you see that it is not centered, that the laser aiming module hangs off this side of the rifle a little bit, which is where I want my light to be and which is where it used to be. And so I tried it on multiple rifles, on this one right behind me, on my 300 Blackout, and on this one, and on none of them could I fit the laser and keep my white light where I wanted to. Now, do I really even need the white light? Because this comes with a white light by itself. So, white light, mod light. Technically, I have two white lights on here. This is the one on the laser aiming module. This is my mod light button. And I do love the switch on this. The remote switch that comes with this laser aiming module is fantastic and is 1,000 times better than the one that comes with the HFX-C. Again, the only other lamb that I have experience with so far. I've only had night vision now for, 4 or 5 months, 5 months, but I've used it a lot. I really, really love night vision and I love shooting under nods. And my Mark 18 is my favorite gun to shoot under nods. Until I had this, I was just aiming passively through the EOTech, but I've also been taking this one out quite a bit. What you need for shooting under night vision is an optic that'll work under night vision for passive aiming. It's nice to have it on a riser. Nice to have something like an EOTech with a very clear window that you can turn down enough to not, burn out your tubes because night vision amplifies ambient light. And so you don't want your reticle to be very bright because it's going to get amplified. And then you want a suppressor because it suppresses not only noise, but flash. And flash, night vision, again, gets amplified. So you want minimum flash. This is why I enjoy both of these. Optics on risers, suppressors, and then of course you want a laser aiming module. It really does make it so much easier than just shooting passively. Now there is a time and a place for passive shooting. Near peer conflicts, a lot of our enemies have night vision now. And so you don't want an IR signature if you're in one of those kind of conflicts. I'm not. I'm going to the range and I'm shooting steel targets. I don't really care because no one else around me has night vision and can see my IR signature. So shooting with a laser, pretty nice and really, really easy. I found that I really appreciate the way that this thing is set up as far as the ergonomics and controls. So you do have a cap there, so you can, make sure that you don't end up with an accidental signature. But cap comes off. You have a white light head that you can use or not. This screws out and they have a different cap that you can use for the battery. It runs on a CR123, which is a really, same battery that the EOTech takes. It's a very ubiquitous battery, which is kind of nice. We'll see how long the battery life lasts with a CR123, but so far so good. it has the fire switch exactly where you would want it, and the fact that the thing kind of hangs off the right side of your rifle makes it very easy to hit that when you're doing a C-clamp grip. But it also comes with a really good switch. And so as you can see, I was able to set up my white light switch and the switch for this right next to each other. Under nods, really easy to know which one is which and which one I want to use. And that's a big thing, is when you're under night vision and you're out there shooting in the dark, having things that are easily, operated by feel instead of by looking at them is really, really helpful. Because even under night vision, the thing is that you can really only focus your tubes, your lenses, at a certain distance, and you're not going to have it focused right nearby where your rifle is. And that is also why I appreciate the selector switch here, because you can use it with your thumb even right in front of this switch where I have it mounted. And as long as you memorize where the different modes are, it is very easy to switch between them by feel. And that I really, really appreciate. It was one of those things that until I started using this out at night, I didn't realize how good that design choice was. And then this right here adjusts the beam pattern, the focus of your IR illuminator. So you can have it focused all the way wide, which is really nice for, up close and personal kind of shooting. You can illuminate a larger area. Or if you're shooting a farther distance, you can focus it much more narrow. And I found that the focus between, as wide as possible for up close and narrow for far away was a really good, it was kind of perfect, honestly. So I think that the design choices of this thing are really, really good. And then of course, right here, you have your crane port. Takes standard crane switch, so you can use whatever remote switch you want. If you want to use a mod button like this, they make them with a crane switch or with a crane, port switch, whatever. So you can use whatever you like, but it does come with a very good switch by itself. You can click it on and it'll stay on, or, just hold it for a momentary. Again, there's your green laser. And double click it, to keep it on. And I did that as well while I was out shooting, because at one point I put this thing in a tripod, meaning the whole rifle, and held the night vision with my camera and, pulled some shots off, which was not easy by any means, holding the night vision and the camera with this hand and shooting with this hand in the tripod. But I was able to make some hits that way and show you guys that as well. So far, I'm really happy with this thing. I'm not super stoked that I've had to mount this mod light like down on the lower part of the rail for a couple reasons. I like to kind of grip all the way around the rail, and I can't really do that now. I have to grip here, but that actually does work with my switch placement. So it didn't bother me out shooting it at night where it is. I wasn't using white light anyway. I was specifically using the IR functions, and technically, I don't really need an extra white light with this because it has a pretty good white light already. In fact, let's just show you that real quick. So first, for comparison's sake, this is the Mod Light OKW, which it looks like I probably need to charge the battery on it, so maybe not a great comparison. And this is the white light on the laser aiming module. As you can see, not quite as much power as the Mod Light. Well, more power than the Mod Light with my battery dying. Just shows me that I need to keep up on my batteries there. But the beam pattern specifically is what I want to look at. This one has a lot of lumens, but not quite the candela that the Mod Light has. So it's not nearly as focused of a beam, but it does have plenty of power. And then here is with the laser and the light, and just the green visible laser. There's a time and a place for passive aiming, but having a good laser aiming module sure makes things easy. Now, one thing that I appreciate with electronics is simplicity. Now, as you see, all of the green laser, the IR laser, and the IR illuminator are all located in one little housing here, and they are all zeroed together. So there is only one elevation and one windage knob here, and it zeroes all three of them. So they're not independent. You don't have to have 2 or 3 different zeros. It zeroes them all, which is really cool because your IR laser always stays right in the center of your IR illuminator beam, and your green laser is zeroed right along with it. And so zeroing this thing, the way I zero IR lasers is I just use my optic zero and look through the optic at a very far distance, as far as I can basically, and turn on the IR laser and adjust my windage and elevation until it lines up with the center dot on my optic. And then I consider that zeroed, and it was. I went out there and I was able to make hits very, very easily. Now, I wasn't shooting at super long distances, but I don't really shoot under night vision at super long distances. I'm sure I will once the real range out here opens back up at the end of the month. I'll be able to shoot at longer distances. This was the best night vision shoot I've had yet. And the main reason being, like I said, I've been into night vision for the last few months. It's been winter. And I don't know if you guys watch my other night vision content, but I've had to go out in freezing cold weather to shoot night vision content because you gotta wait till it's dark, and it's cold when it's dark in the wintertime. This was the first time I went out that it wasn't just ridiculously cold, and so I actually really enjoyed it, and I'm really looking forward to shooting a lot under night vision this summer. And we are gonna put this thing through its paces. We're gonna put, I've already done quite a few videos on this night vision itself, which absolutely love. But I also just recently got the RIP-3C thermal clip-on, also from RIX Tactical. I've done one video about it so far, but it's one of those things that has a lot of features and a lot of capability that I'm just not super familiar with yet. And so we're gonna have to do a lot more testing, a lot more use with it before I can do a final review of this or this laser aiming module. But so far, I'm very impressed with RIX Tactical's products. Now, Chinese night vision, I get it, but you know what? It's good enough for me. I hear a lot of people talk all the time about how, you need the most high spec tubes in the world. You gotta have L3 Harris, unfilmed white phosphor, Gen 3, or else you're just gonna be killed in the streets. You got to have a Wilcox Raid, or you got to have, a $4,000 freaking laser. I don't know about all that. Now, one thing I have learned in the firearms in general is, yes, you do get what you pay for when it comes to a lot of things. And, this Mark 18 is a much better rifle than this PSA 11.5 inch. This $5,000 almost $ 14.5 inch is a much better rifle than this M&P 15 Sport 2. And I'm sure, L3 Harris unfilmed is better, and I'm sure a Wilcox Raid is better. But how much better, and is it worth that extra money? I'm not really sure it is. I feel like I am very capable with this night vision and this laser. It adds a ton of capability that I didn't have without them. And I feel like I can see great at night, and I can make hits on target with the laser aiming module. And I think that the illuminator on this thing is fantastic. The laser is as powerful as I need for anything that I'm doing. And, I tested it against the mountain at, a couple hundred yards and saw it just fine. So I am really happy with this stuff. And if you want to get into night vision and not put a second mortgage on your home, I think that the RIX tactical stuff is a really good option. Ambi rifle, suppressor, laser aiming module from RIX Tactical. Really makes shooting under nods pretty fun. As always though, I want to know what you guys think. Do you have experience with this laser? It's pretty new, so I don't think a whole lot of people do yet. I've been seeing a lot of stuff about it, and now that I finally got my hands on it, pretty dang happy with the thing. I just wish that I could fit my white light where I want to with it there. But again, as you just saw with my batteries not being charged in the mod light, this light's actually performing better than it anyway. So how much do I really need this extra weight on the end of my rifle? It does seem like I'm taking a lightweight rifle and making it as heavy as I possibly can with a suppressor, a laser, and a light on it. But you know what? Sometimes it just is what it is. I feel like a future soldier with all this tech on my head, but it's really cool stuff, and it's really, really exciting and fun to go shoot under night vision. And a laser aiming module really, pulls the added capability out of night vision, because infrared, the IR spectrum, we can't see with our naked eye. And so the laser and illuminator that you get with an IR module under night vision gives you a whole added set of capabilities that the night vision alone doesn't give you. It is really cool. It's basically like you just have this incredible flashlight and laser pointer on the end of your gun, but nobody can see it but you, or at least nobody that doesn't have night vision. Pretty incredible stuff, and I recommend that anybody try it. There's not a whole lot of things, most of my reviews are pretty positive because I like this stuff. It's fun to me, it's exciting, I love shooting, I love building rifles, and I love night vision stuff. It's just freaking cool. And if you can afford to do it, I highly recommend it. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a like. Make sure you subscribe to Sawtooth Tactical. And from Sawtooth Tactical, stay strapped or get clapped.